You sit down at your desk, look at the stack of textbooks, and before you even open a page, your brain shuts down. The physical symptoms of exam anxiety, the racing heart, the shallow breath, create a state of mental paralysis that prevents learning from happening. Pushing harder through the material at this stage is counterproductive. To engage with complex subjects, you must first actively tune your mind to a state of receptive focus. We are implementing a specific 10-minute daily focus routine centered on the Saraswati Chalisa. This sequence is designed to systematically dissolve that initial stress response. Replacing morning chaos with this structured routine acts as a psychological circuit breaker. It prepares your brain for intense study before you ever encounter a challenging concept in your textbook. This protocol requires a quiet desk, the text or audio track of the Chalisa, and 10 uninterrupted minutes. Begin by clearing your workspace. Removing the clutter from your physical desk creates a dedicated focal point for the mind. The text instructs the offering of dupe, incense, and naivedya, a small sweet. You are creating a sensory environment specifically for study. Engaging the sense of smell with incense establishes a conditioned neuroassociative trigger. When your brain recognizes this specific scent, it begins to transition into a state of deep work automatically. Setting the space and providing these physical cues serves as a boundary marker. It signals to your nervous system that the transition from rest to focused learning has concluded. To prevent passive reading, you must utilize active visual mapping. As you recite the text, you focus on the specific symbols of cognitive enhancement described within it. The vina serves as a metaphor for your internal state. Imagine your erratic mental frequencies smoothing out into a steady, optimal sine wave, eliminating the background static of your environment. The swan, or hamsa, represents discernment, the ability to separate milk from water. For a modern student, this discernment is the skill of filtering critical knowledge from the overwhelming noise of digital distractions and irrelevant data. The imagery of the four hands represents the synchronized effort of the mind, the intellect, your alertness, and your ego. Holding these precise symbols in your mind's eye while chanting primes the cognitive functions needed for high-level academic performance. Imposter syndrome often strikes when you face a subject that feels too complex to grasp. You might feel that your intelligence is insufficient for the task. The Chalisa addresses this by referencing Valmiki, who began his journey in a state of utter ignorance before eventually becoming the first poet. It also highlights the transformation of Kalidasa, whose legendary intellectual clarity was achieved after a period of significant struggle and confusion. These narrative precedents parallel your own capacity to conquer a daunting essay or a complex math problem. By anchoring your mind to these examples, you counter the feeling of inadequacy. They suggest that initial confusion is a common, temporary starting point for eventual mastery. Now for the physical execution. Sit upright, engage in deep breathing, and initiate the recitation with clear intent. Maintain a steady, rhythmic pace. This cadence helps regulate your autonomic nervous system, lowering your heart rate and soothing your anxiety. The text describes epic battles against powerful demons like Madhu Kaitab and Raktamija. View these mythical demons as the internal obstacles you face daily: the chronic procrastination, the urge to panic, and the fear of failure. The text emphasizes daily repetition to build a compounding psychological advantage over time. This rhythmic recitation creates a mental shield, helping you remain composed even as external academic pressures increase. The routine is complete. You've prepared the space, visualized the cognitive symbols, anchored your mind to literary precedents, and engaged in rhythmic recitation. Contrast your current state with the chaotic anxiety you felt 10 minutes ago. You are now in a baseline of sharpened, confident readiness. Print the Chalisa and position it permanently on your desk. Execute this 10-minute routine tomorrow morning before opening your books. By adopting this routine, you take control of your study environment and internal state, preparing your mind for the focus required